Okay, this is the AP Calculus Chapter 4 review, video number 2. We're going to be working off of page 283 today. And I'm going to start, I've got the problems worked listed up here. I'm only going to work the ones from 283 in this video. We'll get the ones from 296 in the next video. All right, so 283, number 9. So again, we're on page 283 here. So number 9, we have from -1 to 1 of t squared minus 2 dt. All right, let's integrate that. So this will be 1/3 t cubed minus 2t. And we will evaluate that from -1 to 1. So that's 1/3 times 1 cubed minus 2 times 1. So I'm plugging in that top number. Minus, I always put a big bracket there. So minus 1/3 times -1 cubed minus 2 times -1. We have to be so careful with this. So that's going to be 1/3 minus 2 minus, all right, -1 cubed is -1. So that'd be -1/3 plus 2. Let's put that 2 in thirds, right? So that's going to be 6/3. So 1/3 minus 6/3 minus -1/3 plus 6/3. All right, what a mess. So that's minus 5/3 minus, and then 5/3. So that would be -10/3. Oh man, so you can see how you could get things could get really dangerous with that. Okay, all right, so knock that one out. Number 15. Again, we're on page 283. 15, from 1 to 4. All right, now it uses a u. I'm going to use an x. All right, 1 to 4. I'm going to replace that u with an x. So x minus 2 over. It says the square root of u. We're going to go ahead and say that's to the 1/2. So let's rewrite this as 1 to 4. X to the 1/2. See, when you got one thing in the denominator, you don't want to try u substitution. Just divide it into each one. X to the 1 over x to the 1/2 is going to be x to the 1/2. We'll just take 1, the exponent here, 1 minus 1/2. 2 over x to the 1/2. So that'd be minus 2x to the minus 1/2. I've divided that x to the 1/2 into the 2. Now we can integrate, so this will be x to the 3/2, but we need a 2/3 out front, so that gets this one done. And then we're going to have an x to the positive 1/2, and I'm going to need a I guess a 4 out front. 1/2 times 4 would be 2, and then I go to the minus 1/2. All right, so let's see if that works. Put a minus there. So 3/2 times 2/3, 1, x to the 1/2. That'll give me that. And then 1/2 times 4 is -2, and then minus 1 minus 1/2. Okay, I think we're on the right track here. 1 to 4. So I've got 2/3 times 4 to the 3/2 minus 4 times 4 to the 1/2 minus 2/3 times 1 to the 3/2. So I'm plugging 1 into each now. Minus 4 times 1 to the 1/2. Good grief. All right, the square, so 4 to the 3/2. The square, of course, you can use your calculator here. Square root of 4 is 2. 2 cubed is 8. 8 times 2, so that's going to be 16/3 minus 8 minus, thank goodness, 2/3, because 1 to 3/2 is just 1. And then 1, so minus 4. Let's put everything in thirds. 16/3 minus 24/3, that's the 8, minus 2/3 minus 12/3. Good googly moogly. Negative 8/3 minus 2 minus 12, negative 10/3. So that's going to be negative 8/3 plus 10/3, which is 2/3. All right, negative 8/3 plus 10/3, so that'd be a positive 2/3. All right, so I don't have the answers in front of me. I hope this checks out to be right. I will check it out at the end of the video, and we'll make sure that they're right. So that's 15 for you. Okay. (21). So we're going from -1 to 0, t to the 1/3 minus t to the 2/3. Okay. I think we can do this. So add 1 to 1/3, that's going to be 4/3, right? T to the 4/3. But I need a 3/4 out front. Add 1 to 2/3, right? 3/3, that's going to be 5/3. But I need a 3/5 out front. So let's make sure, let's take the derivative. 4/3 times 3/4 is 1, minus 1, 1/3. And then 1 minus 1, and 2/3 minus 3/3. 5/3 minus 1 would be 2/3. Yeah. So -1 to 0. We love 0. So it's 3/4 times 0 to the 4/3 minus 3/5 times 0 to the 5/3. So that's just going to be a big fat bagel, right? Minus 3/4 -1 to the 4/3 minus 3/5 -1 to the 5/3. Okay, big 0 on the left side. Minus, okay, -1. The cube root of -1 is -1, but then to the 4th power is going to be 1. So that's 3/4 times 1, 3/4. Use your calculator. All right, -1 to the 5/3, they're both odd, so that's going to be -1. So negative 3/5 times -1 would be plus 3/5. All right, I guess I got to put them in, what, 20ths? So it's going to be 0 minus, so it'd be 15 over 20 plus 4 over 4, so that'd be 12 over 20. So I get -27 over 20. Is that the right answer? I don't really know. I will check it. All right, you can fast forward through this part. I really feel like I better check these. So we are on page 283. Page 283. So number 9, the answer in the back says -10/3. I feel like we got that one. Number 15 we worked at says 2/3. I don't remember what we got on that. 21, -27 over 20. That is correct. Okay, so good for us. Okay. I think it was 2/3 on that one. So I'll check them from now on, each one. So you could have fast forwarded through all that, but sorry about my pre-planning was not great. All right, 22, double deuce. Okay, we got, oh, that's awful. I believe this is one that in the past I actually don't plug it in. Because I know I'm not going to give you one this hard on the test. I think I just maybe do the, I integrate, but don't plug it in. So this is the same as -8 to -1 of x minus x squared over 2x to the 1/3. So just rewrote that, cube root of x, x to the 1/3. So x over, so this is going to be -8 to -1, x over 2x to the 1/3. That's going to be 1/2 x to the 2/3, because it's 1 minus 1/3. And then minus 1/2 x, because 1 over 2, you got that 2 there. I could pull that out also. 2 minus 1/3, so that would be 6/3 minus 1/3, that'd be 5/3. All right, let's bring that 1/2 out front. We have x to the 2/3 minus x to the 5/3. Okay, so that's going to be 1/2, and then we would have x to the 5/3, but I'm going to need a 3/5 out front, minus, and this would be 8/3, right? X to the 8/3, add 3/3 to it, but I'm going to need a 3/8 out front. All right, and if I distribute the 1/2, that's going to be 3/10 x to the 5/3 minus 3/16 x to the 8/3. And I have to evaluate that from, -8 to -1. All right, I'm probably not going to take this one all the way through. You could just use your calculator, but that's 3/10 times -1 to the 5/3 minus 3/16 times -1 to the 8/3 minus, let's go ahead and bring that bracket down here, minus 3/10 times -8 to the 5/3 minus 3/16 times -8 to the 8/3. Oh man. So a calculator would be helpful there. I know I remember this problem. I never carry it out. I just wanted to show you how to integrate. I thought it was worth it to show you how to integrate that. You know, to do the 2 minus 1/3 and the 1/2 and all that. I'd probably use the calculator to try to get the answer there. All right, so, but it's a good problem from a standpoint of integrating. Okay, 25. I hope this one isn't as bad. 0 to pi, oh, lovely. You love your trig. 1 plus sine x. Right, I don't think this is too bad. So, antiderivative of 1 is x. And then I believe we'd have minus cosine x. The derivative of minus cosine is positive sine. Okay, and we're going to go from 0 to pi. So it's going to be pi minus cosine of pi minus 0 minus cosine of bagel. Cosine of pi, that's going to be pi minus, what's the cosine of pi? Get that unit circle out. -1 minus 0 minus, what's the cosine of 0? It's 1, so negative 1. 0 minus 1, negative 1. Pi plus 1 plus 1, pi plus 2. Let's check the back of the book. Let's check the back of the book. Check, 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 check. Number 25. Pi plus 2. Woohoo! Ding, 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 ding. The teacher did okay on that problem. 3 more to work. 26. All right. 0 to pi over 4. Pi over 4. 1 minus sine squared theta over cosine squared theta. Now this is one you might remember from pre-cal. Sine squared theta plus cosine squared theta is equal to 1. That one is worth remembering. So 1 minus sine squared theta is just cosine squared theta. So boom, 0 to pi over 4 of cosine squared theta over cosine squared theta. That is just 0 to pi over 4 of what? The same thing over the same thing. That's going to be 1, which is going to be theta. So that would be, once we plug in pi over 4 minus 0, which is pi over 4. Can't check the back of the book on that, but I'm feeling pretty good about it. If you disagree, let me know. All right. 2 more, 2 more, 2 more, 2 more. You can do it, you can do it. 27. Negative pi over 6 to pi over 6. Of secant squared x dx. Okay, what's the antiderivative of secant squared? It's tangent x, but we're plugging in negative pi over 6 to pi over 6. So that's going to be tangent of pi over 6 minus tangent of negative pi over 6. Okay, what is tangent? Tangent is sine over cosine. So that'd be sine pi over 6. You can remember the trick if you want. There's a trick. But that's going to be sine of pi over 6 is a half. Cosine of pi over 6 is root 3 over 2. All right, so after you flip, that's going to be 1 over root 3. Tangent of negative pi over 6, well, that's going to be in quadrant 4 where tangent's negative. So that would be tangent of negative pi over 6 is just negative 1 over root 3. So you'd have 1 over root 3 minus negative 1 over root 3. So again, tangent is negative in quadrant 4. ASTC. So remember, pi over 6 is, you just go down pi over 6 into quadrant 4. So that's going to be 2 over root 3. All right, or it can be, if you rationalize 2 root 3 over 3, let me check the back of the book, 27, 27, 27, 20. Yep, that's the answer. All right. One more, one more, one more. The 29. Negative pi over 3 to pi over 3. Or secant theta tangent theta. All right, we can't pull that 4 out front, but what gives you a derivative when you take the derivative gives you secant tangent? It's just secant. The derivative of secant is secant tangent. So this is going to be 4 secant theta negative pi over 3 to pi over 3. All right, that's 4 secant pi over 3 minus 4 secant negative pi over 3. Okay, remember secant is just, this is going to be the same thing as 1 over, so secant's 1 over cosine, right? So 1 over cosine pi over 3 cosine negative pi over 3. I'm probably making you do a lot more trig than you want to. All right, look at the unit circle. You'll get the unit circle on the test. What's cosine of pi over 3? It's a half. All right, sorry. So that's 4 over a half. What's cosine of negative pi over 3? Well, cosine, that's in quadrant 4. Cosine's positive in quadrant 4. So that's going to also be, so it'd be minus 4 over a half. So 8 minus 8, that's just 0. Let's see if that's what's in the back of the book. 29, 29, 29. It is 0. All right, I will do review number 3, and you will be all reviewed. Talk to you next time.